What's going on, guys? It's Red Bull Tanker, and welcome back to Operation Thunderbolt. This is turn 3 for the Allied forces. Alright, so as we saw in the last video, the North Koreans finally have launched their invasion of the South, and now it is time for the Allied response. Alright, starting off with the South Koreans, we had 30 IPC. We spent all of it. We bought 8 infantry and 2 supply. No combat, just non-combats. We're going to reinforce Incheon here. And for the Allies, we did activate the 9th Corps here in Sangju. And so the South Korean forces in Sangju, we are going to take an infantry and mech, bring them into the defenses of Seoul. We're going to use these two to come up to Osan. Use those as temporary blockers. And then, yeah, so then we will deploy. So that's going to be 8 more infantry. It's going to be 8 more infantry in Seoul, which again is another thing that I don't entirely agree that this factory should be able to produce 10, especially if, I mean, in many aspects, the South doesn't need to buy supply for the first couple turns, so they could just stack 10 infantry in Seoul until, they completely outnumber the North Koreans in ground forces. They might even now. So, definitely think Seoul has to be done a little differently, or at least the factory in Seoul needs to be done a little bit differently. And then, so we put the 8 infantry in. We put the 8 infantry in Seoul. We put the 2 supply down here in Busan. And then, let's see here. Yeah, that should be it. And then come down here and collect 30. All right, over to the U.S. The U.S. as always, had 50. They are buying 3 infantry, 2 mech, a tank, a fighter, a AAA, and a transport. No combat for the Americans this turn, just more non-combats. We are going to leave 11th Corps where it is, and the forces in 11th Corps. We're going to leave these defenders in Seoul. We have nobody here at 8th Army. These guys are going to stay, so the only thing we are doing is moving along the long supply track to deployment, and then I can move these guys up now. Oops. Well, except for the fighter. The fighter can go here. So yes, we have the 1st Cavalry Division deploying to Korea. We have the 7th Cavalry, the 8th Cavalry, and the 5th Cavalry. That will make up that part of the division. All right, and then at the end of the turn, the U.S. collects 50. For the UN, they are buying a transport, a tank, 1 infantry, which is the Argyle and Sutherland Highlanders Regiment, and then 3 supply. Non-combats, these guys come here along the supply track. We will actually move these 2 forward to Chowan as a defensive posture there. I think we'll still leave the fleet there. Yeah, and then we will move the rest of the the rest of the UN force here. Okay. So then that should be the UN, and at the end of the turn, the UN will collect 20. All right, well, that is going to be it for the Allies. The game is finally kind of starting to pick up, though. I mean, I'm just looking at Seoul, and it already looks way too heavily contested, and I don't know if the communists are even going to have that much of a chance to even take it. I don't even think they have the ground forces necessary to even accomplish that. So we will just have to see how this all plays out, because next turn they'll be able to attack Incheon, but that gives the South Koreans another turn to throw 10 units down into the defenses of Seoul. So Seoul is probably going to be, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for the North Koreans to even take the capital. But so coming up here, once again, Allies have 30 IPC to the 28 of the Communists, and we are now rolling into September of 1950. All right, well, that is it for turn 3, and we will see you guys next time for turn 4. So until then, guys, as always, take care.